Our journey begins with the sounds of shattering glass and exploding corpses, an appropriate introduction to what would come. I started off by scouring the rundown shelter I found myself in, searching for anything that might be remotely useful, but hoping to find anything that could hold water for the long walk ahead of me. I found several pieces of clothing in the lockers, which I turned into a makeshift bag so I could carry more supplies. Since I had no immunity to the airborne strain of the virus, I fashioned myself a mask. In the supply closet, I found a few cans of food, which should keep me healthy long enough to get to civilization and find more. Unfortunately, I didn't find any water bottles, meaning I'd have to make do with whatever hydration I could find in the woods as I went. While I was walking, I found some branches and a rock, so I fashioned a knife and a quarterstaff for defense. After a few minutes wandering around, I found the road and started heading east, and shortly ran into the first zombies of the run. The first two were easy enough, but I didn't expect two more to shamble out of the woods, making the fight a bit more time-consuming than I had expected. On the bodies, I found some boots, gloves, and most importantly a watch, so I could finally know the day, time, and temperature. After a bit more walking, I came to the outskirts of Moldruk, where I decided to first raid the bar in search of water and to top off my food. I thought I heard a noise above me, so I went outside to eat some chips, and the zombies that had been waiting to ambush me shambled out to complain about it. With both of them dead, I finished looting and moved on. A few moments later, I found myself at some of everyone's favorite buildings, the hardware store. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the pallet truck was there, so I ultimately only walked away with a few tools and decided I'd come back later once I started work on a proper base. I searched the office buildings and found an upgrade to my bag, so I switched it out. It was around this time I developed an obsession with turning clothes into sheets, then into thread, into twine, and then into rope. I would realize much later that this was the literal dumbest way to do this. I decided I'd cap off the day by searching the storage units, and when it got late enough, I found a couch to sleep on. After waking up, I took a moment to consolidate my supplies before continuing my search of the storage units. I found nothing of immediate usefulness, but before I could think about leaving, a toxic fog rolled in, trapping me. I decided I'd take the time to read while I waited for it to clear up, and then I left. I searched a few houses nearby and ended up finding a lot of recipe books and an upgrade to my backpack again in the form of a duffel bag, so I switched out. Since it was getting late again and I didn't feel like looting in the dark, I found a suitable place to sleep for the night. Because it was still dark when I awoke, I spent a while reading the books I had gathered before heading out. While exploring the fence community, I found my first axe, which would be useful later when I began construction. I searched half the homes in the community and found only basic supplies, then found a safe place to work out and then sleep. I searched more of the community, but decided it was still too dark, so I stopped to eat and read more books. I found what I first thought to be the only zombie in the place, but it quickly turned out to be an ambush, which I managed to deal with. Another zombie tried to get me while I was reading. I decided I wanted to make the clinic my temporary base, but the pre-existing tenants had something to say about that. At first, I thought I could handle the situation. Then my endurance started maxing out and another zombie joined the battle. I made the tactical decision to drop my backpack to help my recovery. I ran back to see if I had any weapons I could use or beta blockers, but had none. Then Zombie 5 entered the fray. I got one of them, but Zombie 6 made my advantage moot. Zombie 7 said hey, why not, and joined too. At this point I was exhausted, tired, and panicked. Couldn't fight them. I had to make a decision. Using a small burst of energy from a caffeine pill, I ran away to find a place to rest. Knowing the zombies would follow me, I could only hope they'd wait long enough for me to be ready for them.